Hello, everybody, and welcome to Super Duper Blooper Tuesday. And I'm joined this evening by my frequent co-host, Serp Kerp, and frequent
And
show guest, Fritz Imperial. It's good to have you
Hi.
guys on.
Hello. Don't worry, I won't be drinking tonight.
Are you gonna drink, Serp?
for Lent.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Okay.
same thing for
So
me.
yeah, so maybe I'm less interesting and more doomer now.
I'm
Or, like serious doomer and less comedic doomer.
Yeah, for Lent, I'm doing strict calorie control.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of a diet thing, but I just am not going over. So that means I have to like cut out a bunch of shit. So
hmm
I kind of view Lent as a time where you try to pick something to improve yourself with.
hmm
Um, like first it was soda, last year it was jerking off, and this year it's trying to rein in my snacking problems.
So
hmm
soda, alcohol, fast, rosary every night, and then now I have the little black book that I'm reading, which is kind of it's not as tr- like theologically where I'd want it to be, but I gotta sign that as a penance. So
So guess who got blocked and kicked from the server of Razor Fist?
Who?
Uh, me,
Oh, okay.
me and
oh,
a friend of mine, Settlers Lament. Uh, I made a post response to a Twitter thing he said about why, because he's been on a whole Ayn Rand bent recently, and he said like, well, it's better to have corporate monopolies than to have government ones. And I basically said, why don't we just have neither and decentralize and try and decentralize the economy? And then he said, well, that means you believe in government monopolies. And I said, well, how about, I think there's a problem with people just saying that you can either have socialism or capitalism, and there's absolutely zero alternatives. And he says, well, no, that's not true. There is no binary. It's just either regulation or no regulation. And I said, okay, so how does any of this apply to, say, the Middle Ages? And then he says, well, the Middle Ages were totalitarian. There was no technological progress, and trade secrets were all kept by the guilds. And then I said, but that's
That's
not
that
true.
I
this
don't know. I could share some personal information.
um
Actually, um,
oh,
was-
sorry. We can get back to that. I'm just seeing what results have come in so far for Super Tuesday. So Biden got in the South, he got 62% of black voters to Sanders
I-
18%.
Why
in
does
South
black people like
Carolina
him so much?
Um
because he was Obama's vice president.
no,
Oh,
that's all primaries combined today.
Well,
Whereas outside of the South, he only got 33% to Sanders 25.
keep in mind that blacks are kind of Nazgul, to be blunt.
Yeah.
So, so when they had a in California, all the blacks voted against gay marriage in Prop 8, if I remember correctly.
hmm
Yeah, so this is for North Carolina. 62% of blacks said the next president should return to Obama's policies, whereas 41% of whites said that he should be more liberal. Uh, so I think black people just like Obama,
Well,
hmm
he's black.
and they just
Have you ever had a black friend that will just be like his favorite movies happen are just because they're movies that have a black main character?
unless it's Dragon Ball Z, yes.
the thing is, I remember seeing an article that said like, it's like, here's 100 books written by black women you should read, and I'm thinking, are any of them not directly about their experience as a black person? Are any of them just about something that's not race?
No, and like that's kind of what I like to say. White people are like the only group who doesn't think that way. Um,
I remember seeing.
who don't think tribally in that fashion.
Well, they actually there's a statistic you can show where it shows like in-group preferences, and
Yep.
across the board, the only group that doesn't have in-group preference are liberal whites.
Hmm. I'm just trying to find if there's like a list of what's been in so far. So it looks like Biden won North Carolina.
And
Um,
Virginia.
yeah, so Biden looks like he won. Oh, Trump won North Carolina. That's a surprise. Uh,
Anyway, what's I think is the most important thing to look for is how well Bloomberg does today.
Apparently, they said like he won the. Isn't one of our Pacific colonies, I mean territories, uh, part of this too, and he won that.
Yeah, Samoa, American
Okay,
Samoa.
good for him.
oh, Biafra nationalist. Yeah, I'm sorry about what happened with your country. I wish Biafra had won independence. I
Where's
like. It's in southeastern Nigeria. It's where the
okay?
Igbo live.
It's
Uh,
the really Catholic and much more well, the people on
Mm,
the much more intelligent part.
yeah, I like Igbos.
okay.
They're like yeah, they're very
Well,
Christian.
that's generally what should happen to Africa is ethnic groups should just try and move for more, you know, autonomy.
Yeah. Anyways, I just thought I'd say that. I studied Nigeria back in university a bit. I'm just trying to see. There's not like something I can't find something like for So, Serp, do you think they're gonna rob Bernie?
What? Oh, what do you mean, Rob? Well, check how many are primaries and check how many are caucuses. They'll rob him at caucuses because they have these really weird labyrinthine voting rules.
Mm-hmm.
And primaries are just straight elections, so it's a lot harder to rob at a primary.
So I agree with you because there is no reason for Pete Buttigieg to drop out before Super Tuesday.
Or Klobuchar because she would have won her own state too.
What
Like,
state is she from?
And Klobuchar technically was doing better than Warren,
Mm-hmm.
ironically enough.
yeah, because like there was nothing to lose by just waiting 3 days and seeing if he got any like support. Like, I don't get how he can say I have no path forward um, before Super Tuesday. He wasn't
Optically,
polling that bad, was he?
Did you see my video on Buttigieg dropping
Yeah.
out?
Hmm.
I think optically he was probably one of the people that could easily beat Trump because you have the young gay mayor versus the evil Nazi orange man. Now you'll have. I don't see how Obama. I mean, how Biden can beat him, but
Um. Oh, I can barely hear. Okay, I'll turn Serp up.
No, it's because I'm cooking right now. It's my fault.
No, but I can hear you fine on my end, so it's kind of
Oh,
hard.
okay.
Let's see here. Let me just see what the latest polls were, because I didn't think Pete was doing that bad in terms of the primary polls.
so here's a question: do you think there's a chance that Tulsi is going to become independent or like switch parties?
No, I don't think so.
Is she just a one-trick
He's
pony
just
where she
trying to
knows
be the Ron Paul of the Democrats.
she has this one thing where she can appeal to the non-interventionist Trump supporters and then get some of that support. But you think she'll win her home state?
I'm just trying to find like recent polls. Like, yeah, I don't know. Buttigieg was all over the place. I guess he was only at 6%, but um, or was that before he dropped out? Let me just see. I don't know. He wasn't doing like horrendously. He was at 10%. He like as you said, Serp, I think he just dropped out because the people in power were like, you guys we have to stop Bernie from winning.
I think that that's happened with all the three that dropped out in the last few days.
Yep. Why isn't Warren dropped out?
Uh,
Oh, because
I,
she can siphon votes from Bernie.
yeah, and also I think she's senile.
Okay, that's well, they're all senile.
Well, I think Bernie's the least senile. Like he seems to know what he's doing day to
But he's
day.
the oldest one too.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Bloomberg's that senile.
Have you seen the video of him like licking donuts or like spreading germs around by like was he like licking donuts and then like licking his fingers and then touching other people's food? They're just like gross old people.
Well, it was four skeletons in the Antichrist, but um,
The
now it's
Antichrist.
just that was just three. That was just four skeletons.
And a mommy GF, I guess.
Yeah, but she doesn't count.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't think Bloomberg is gonna.
better than she was.
What? Why? Why did they bring Bloomberg in? Did they think he was gonna be
Bloomberg
able
is
to
an
win?
independent. He went in on his own accord. He's not
He
like
was just. I think he was just jealous that another New York billionaire got to be president. And he didn't. And he's like, "Well, I have way more money than he does."
I'm almost. I don't know who's worse between him and Bernie.
Bloomberg.
Yeah, or Bernie.
Well, if you're an American, like supposedly, if Bernie wins, like I'm gonna be blunt, 50% of people's lives would get better with Medicaid for all, if not like more than that.
I agree. America
It would,
has like the worst healthcare system in a developed country.
that's what my Corona Chan video was up.
Thing is, though, it's not going to get passed in Congress.
Well, yeah, but so in that sense, Sanders is better than Bloomberg, obviously. Like it's to me personally, that would like greatly improve my life. To be blunt.
I just think Sanders would do more to fuck Hollywood and the bankers, and I just hate those assholes. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too.
What does he hate about? I know he hates the banks, but what does he hate? Does he hate Holly? What is
no,
it
just indirectly his like tax the rich shit.
Okay.
If Bloomberg and Warren dropped out, I think Biden could win outright. But I think that if this continues, Sanders will win. But it's possible that he'll go to a contested convention.
I'm just trying to find. It doesn't say here which are caucuses and which are primaries.
You might have to look them up one by one.
Yeah, I'm gonna look
Who
that
do you
up.
think has the best chance of beating Trump, Biden, or Sanders? Because either way, it's going to slough off a huge portion of the Democratic Party. It's either going to get rid of any of the moderates that are still left that don't want Sanders, or the young socialists of America are going to think that the election was stolen from Bernie again.
Well, Serp's convinced that they steal it from Bernie, they're gonna run as a third. They're gonna start running as a third party.
Well, I think that the U.S. is going to have three parties, and if this is what leads this election, it's going to happen eventually because it's going to mirror what is in China or not. Well, what's in Canada and what's in
Most European countries.
Yeah, where you have a conservative. Well, you're going to have the Republicans, the Democrat Party, which is going to be like the Liberal Party.
Do you think it'll move somewhat rightward once the Democratic Socialists?
I don't know.
Maybe it'll become something more like the Liberal Democrats in Britain.
Yeah, maybe. So they're all primaries. They're all primaries today.
I think it'll become more socially liberal. It'll become even more socially liberal.
How can it become more liberal than it already is?
I could see it becoming more corporate.
I think it'll become more corporate and more socially liberal.
Let's see here. They're using the super delegates. Okay, so they're all primaries today except for Samoa, and who gives a crap about Samoa? So
Didn't Bloomberg win Samoa?
yeah, Bloomberg won Samoa.
Did you briefly explain the caucus and primary?
I don't really understand, Serp. Could you explain?
A caucus is where only people that are part of that party can join, and it's like this all day like dine-in affair kind of thing where it's like a party for the party, and then like it's like a convention, and you have the representatives of the person that's running for president, and you can like talk to them. It's like a party or like a fair kind of thing, and that you cast your ballots, and it has these weird labyrinthine rules. So these videos have gone viral in places like Iowa, which has a caucus of like entire of delegates being handed based on coin tosses because of how weird the rules will be like caucuses.
Okay. And then a primary is
A primary is an open election.
okay.
Like in Montana, for example, we have open primaries, which means I tend to vote towards Republican, right? So I can go and vote for in the Democratic primary. I get a pick if I'm going to vote in the Democrat or the Republican primary, but I can pick which primary to vote in, voting regardless of my party ID. Some states have closed primaries, which means you have to be part of you have to be registered, but you can still come in and vote.
How it works in Canada is, I believe it's the majority of each riding sends a delegate to the convention. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's you only have closed primaries in Canada. So I think each I can't remember if it's by population or it's by individual district. Um, I don't know. I think it's changed because I voted in the conservative primary, or we call it conservative leadership race, back in uh, when Andrew Scheer got elected. So we were doing ranked ballots, so I ranked the list of like people who I was voting for, and they just gave percentages. I think they weighted either by riding or by province. It's kind of complicated, but they eliminated the person with the least votes, and then they rebalanced them based on people's second choices.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I didn't really explain that very well, but it's pretty. It's kind of Byzantine.
It's labyrinthine too. Like
Well, it's not like the how it actually works is, but like my ballot was just a list of names, and I just ranked them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as
oh,
many
So
okay.
as I wanted.
I forgot, Serp, are you in the US or Canada?
I live in Montana.
Okay. So American Canada.
Uh,
Never mind.
no, more like American Chechnya.
I had actually put who is my first pref? I put down Brad Troust as my first, who actually came in third. Who's like a social conservative from Saskatchewan. Um, and then I think I put Kelly Leach. Then I think Andrew Shear was how I did it.
So, it's possible that Warren will lose her home state tonight to Sanders.
Looks
Where
like
is she
so
from?
Sanders won Vermont, and it looks like New Hampshire.
What state
He
is
could
Sanders
win
from?
Massachusetts, and then that would mean that Warren would have lost
Okay.
Massachusetts.
Holy shit! It looks like Biden won Virginia in a landslide.
That makes
Oh, he
more
did win
sense.
Virginia in a landslide.
Oh,
80.
not. I think it's like 1% reporting.
No, it says
Oh,
on
67%
Real
in.
Clear, it's
Yep.
like 80% on Real Clear. Here, I gotta go. Just, I'll be back.
He got 53% of Virginia, so he's going to get most of the delegates there. Um, Actually, while he's gone, I'm just going to play his video about Biden.
Okay.
Guys, let me know if the audio's well. You can't really hear it, but let me see here. SERP Biden. Here we go. I'm just going to play this. Let me guys know if
Anyone
this
who
is okay.
pays any attention to what NGOs and billionaires have been doing since 2016, since Trump won the election, they have noticed they've been consistently trying to fuck around with the electoral map to prevent Trump from winning. There's a whole lot of Puerto Ricans in Florida. There's a whole
Oh, are you
lot
talking
of
to me?
franchise felons
I'm
in
just
Florida,
playing a
so
video.
on and so
You just
forth.
can't hear it.
Okay.
Screw everything up in Michigan, screw everything up in Pennsylvania, flip all these borders, or all these purple states blue. That's what they've been trying to do strategically. So, because of this, I basically thought it was impossible for Trump to win. I thought, somebody would rise up amongst the Democrats, somebody who was confident, who could speak, who wasn't a dinosaur. Apparently, I was fucking wrong. I don't know what is going on there. How is Biden still winning? I'm confused. How can he be shitting his pants? He's fucking like 78 or something. He's so goddamn old. And then the person in second place is fucking Sanders. Sanders is fucking older. Okay, I understand Sanders is in a lot better health than Biden, at least in the head he is. But he had a fucking heart attack anyway. So that doesn't fucking matter. He's almost goddamn 80. And then the third person is like some Massachusetts Senator, Warren, who lied about being a fucking Indian. And she's in her 70s. And now the fourth place is some goddamn billionaire that's just as old as Biden, fucking Bloomberg. Oh no, that's fifth place. No, fourth place is the goddamn fucking Antichrist. Right? Butt stuff, Buddha gig, butt juice, I don't know. Fucking Antichrist Mayor Pete. So that's their candidates to run against Trump. 4 skeletons and the Antichrist. So I don't know. Maybe this is the end of days and butt juice is the Antichrist, okay? I don't know. I don't fucking get it. As far as I can see now, I think Biden's going to win. I don't know how in the fuck he's still in the race. If you watch videos of him talking, I don't even know what's going on. Why aren't people yelling at him? Why aren't they getting like paramedics? It looks like he's having a fucking stroke on stage every time he talks. But he's fucking winning. He fucking Kamala rises up, smacks Kamala down. Fucking Sanders rises up, smacks Sanders down. Fucking Warren rises up, smacks Warren down. Watch, now Buttigieg's gonna get fucking smacked down. Biden's a goddamn fucking king. That's all I know. I don't even know what's fucking going on. There's a man who should be in a fucking nursing home. He's just smacking everybody down. I'm intimidated by this, okay? Biden's gonna win. Biden 2020. He's president.
Okay, sorry.
Anyone-
I know that was kind of awkward for you, Fritz. I was just playing a video that Serp had made a little while back about how he thought Biden was going to win. And it's just really
hilarious.
funny. Oh, you saw it?
I'm still listening to it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
on delay.
Oh, okay, cool. This is the end of days. Intimidated by Biden.
He looks like he's gonna have a stroke.
He does.
You know, we hold these truths to be self-evident, and you know what it is. He sounds like Christian. Oh, imagine him running for president. He could. He's over 35.
Yeah, I guess he could.
He can, though. I just wish that he became like more known in the mainstream, just to see. I'm just interested how the general public would react to it.
It's an interesting question.
Mhm.
So Biden won North Carolina. It's
I keep thinking you're gonna
close.
say North Korea.
I wish. So 30% in. Although North Korea is actually like proving to be best Korea.
Yeah, no coronavirus there because nobody wants to go there.
No, someone broke quarantine and they like publicly executed him and burned his body. So people just don't violate quarantine there. If Biden wins, pay very good attention to who the VP is. Yeah, I don't know. It's when Serp gets back, we'll ask him who he thinks. Uh,
Well, he said he's gonna put Beto O'Rourke in charge of gun control. So
oh, um, trying to think who would be a good VP. Maybe Julian Castro.
you have the reverse of yeah. It'd be smart to do the reverse of what Obama did.
I think he would probably be good. I'm just looking through like who the people are.
His vice president is going to be a jar to hold his brain after he has a heart attack.
Um, Maybe he'll pick Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
No, it'd be smart if he picked a Pac or a woman.
he could do Kamala Harris.
That would be a good idea.
Um, I don't know. I think Julian Castro or Kamala Harris is
Somebody
probably.
said DSP should run for president.
I don't know what plot. I don't know what party he'd run on. Probably Democrat because of health care.
Mm-hmm. I, I was just so fascinated that like apparently spent what $40,000 on a mobile game.
Yeah. So people in the chat, let us know who you think he should pick as VP, or who you guys think will win as VP.
But do you think Bernie is going to accept the results? I think he's going to pussy out again, like he did last time.
Probably will. I love the one Trump thing where like some black woman like kicked him off stage or something. And Trump's like, Bernie can't even defend his mic. How could he defend America?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find that.
But somebody like if you know Stone Toss, he does right wing political cartoons, and he posted like a father taking his son, and it's like the father's like upset because his son is seeing like a drag queen story hour, so he takes him away to like go to CPAC, and at the CPAC it's Lady Maga, the conservative drag queen.
Oh,
And
here
then
we
she
go.
got- And then the Lady Maga got really upset.
Yeah, here it is. How is Bernie Sanders going to defend our country if he can't even defend his own microphone? Very sad.
It's delayed for me.
Um, to be like sort of fair, I agree Trump should get off Twitter. Like, I've said this from the beginning. Like, I don't think he should be doing what he does on it. I think it is unprofessional. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can meme about it, but I don't think the president should be like doing that on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe people in the chat want to give their opinion. Maybe I'm being like a pussy here, but I don't know.
But what I was saying before, I think I almost think that like the conservative drag queen lady is worse than the ones at Story Hour because that's just direct infiltration. It's like, oh, look at this based tranny.
Mm-hmm. Phil registered to vote in Connecticut years ago and was affiliated with the Republicans. Yeah, because I don't know who he'd vote for because he hates taxes, but he also hates the healthcare system.
So,
So
so he's basically just bankrupt because he like doesn't have much of an audience anymore, and he spends all his money on frivolous crap.
yeah, I mean he makes over 100 grand a year.
How do you? It's like with Chris, he's on disability and he just spends all of it on video games and dump bottles of Coke. But like, if you actually have a job like Phil does of like doing Let's Plays for years,
He
and
makes
years,
more than twice as much as I do. Maybe like 3 times as much as I do.
I'm unemployed right now, and I have more, and I'm not in any debt.
Let's
But
see here. I don't know. I think the thing we need to look at is the Republican primaries. I don't know. I'm worried about Trump.
you think one of the people running against him is gonna win?
I think it's possible. He has one delegate to Trump's 108. It's close. The
It's
other
gonna be
thing with DSP is he lives in a state that doesn't pay income tax.
what state's that?
Washington.
You'd think that would be a more liberal state would have income tax?
No, they have a business and occupation tax, which is I think like 1.3% of his income, but he like claims it bankrupts him. I know in Ontario I pay like, let me see what my income tax is. Tax. Let me see here. Effective tax rate. Where's Ontario? That's my income. I live in Ontario. So, yeah, my average tax rate is about a quarter of my income. Of that, about a third is. So I guess I pay 8% maybe
Mm-hmm.
to my province. Keep in mind though, if I made as much money as DSP, let me see how much I would pay to my province. Um, yeah, it would be 10% if I made as much as DSP. So
Yeah, and I'm still just in that, trying to get work. I just got rejected a job for working at a Walgreens, and I think it's because I was actually overqualified. Because it's like, oh, college graduate, he's probably not going to be here for very long. Or it's I answered the stupid assessments they ask you, like, how would people describe your work ethic? Like, I answered it too honestly. I didn't like. Are you just supposed to answer that you're flawless in every single one of those, or
okay, the best answer I've ever heard for how you're supposed to answer what your greatest weakness is something fixable.
or a strength?
I tend to say something fixable. So like I'm
Okay.
not that familiar with this particular software, or I'm not familiar with this particular like
But I can
learnable
learn it.
skill. Yeah, is because that's not bullshit. Then like that's something actually
Mhm.
relevant, but it's
For me, my
also something that you
for
can
me,
do something about.
my problem is just getting an interview, because you apply for so many, because sites like Indeed and a lot of online stuff, it just feels like uh, no, there's no actual people that read the resumes, and I think that's largely true. When I went to an employment agency, they basically said like, you they told me to like make my resume more just streamlined, because what how it generally works is they just have computers, uh, they just have like algorithms look for certain skill sets and experience, and then like if you're not perfect in that, they just automatically reject it and don't get back to you.
Yeah. So I'm just looking. People are asking me to talk about the election. There just isn't that much that's come in yet. Like California hasn't come in. Maine hasn't come in. Um, is Pennsylvania tonight? No, I don't think so. Or is it? Let me see what big states there are. Um, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah. Texas will be interesting. Oh, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Is some of Texas in already? Oh, it looks like Sanders might have won. Okay, okay, guys, we'll get back to it. They're actually showing some of it. Um, let's see here. So Texas has started to come out. That's good. Let's see here. Mississippi, nothing's come out for that yet. Let's see if anything's come out for California yet.
Who
Nope.
do Latinos tend to like more? People like Sanders or Biden?
I actually don't know. Um, Let me just see what else is coming out today. Colorado. Nothing's come out of Colorado yet. I'm just gonna go through the states
Okay.
that are on today. Alabama, Biden won. California, Colorado, Maine. Let's see if like Maine's come out. Oh, it looks like well, only 2% in, so that's not enough. Oh, Maine is caucuses, really? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Um, so yeah, Bernie's probably going to get cheated in Maine if Maine is caucuses. Let's see what else is there. Massachusetts.
I love that way. You that's how Phil says it, right?
Is it? I don't know. It's just my Canadian accent.
Massachusetts.
Biden looks like Biden's winning in Massachusetts, although there's only 2% in. If Warren's not doing that bad there. Um, let's see here. Minnesota, that's another fairly large state. Nothing's come in from there yet. I mean, that's going to be the thing. If Trump can take Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, I guess are kind of the big ones that he's going to have to win. He has to win Florida. I don't think there's a path to victory if Trump doesn't take Florida, to be honest.
Well, I think the only way Republicans even have a chance go after this election of winning because of demographic change is if Sirp's right and there is a complete split in the Democratic Party.
Because I don't think that's impossible. I mean, I don't know if they'll run a third party candidate, but I could see people not voting if they cheat Bernie. If Biden doesn't win legitimately, I think that could be really bad for them if he goes to a brokered convention. Because a lot of people feel that Hillary got cheated Bernie out of it last time, and I don't know if the people will accept it a second time.
How do they decide it at a brokered convention?
I actually have no idea. I don't know when the last time there was one. I don't know. Bloomberg is looking like a nothing burger. So,
my mom poignantly pointed out the other day that, Boomerberg could have just spent his money on actually fixing the problems he's talking about. And I just basically said to her, well, couldn't every candidate basically just do that? And
let me see how much Jeb spent. Jeb spending per vote. Because I remember it was disgusting how much money he spent. I think Jeb Bush spent, let's see, in Iowa he spent $2,800 per vote. I think, I'm just trying to find Bush. Ted Cruz. Trump only spent $5 per vote. I'm just trying to find where Bush
he didn't need
is.
to because everybody else gave him free advertising.
Okay, so Jeb Bush spent $35 million on his campaign, and he spent $130 per vote, which is disgusting. So it looks like Bloomberg's doing okay in Tennessee. I don't know why he's doing okay in Tennessee. Let me see what else is coming in today. Utah, Tennessee, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is such a random state.
Well, what do you mean?
Like, just that it exists. It's just one of those states people forget. The two states I never remember exist are Wyoming and Rhode Island.
Yeah, well, one of them is the smallest state by population, the other is by space.
Because I always forget, like, they even exist.
There's like, 100,000 people in the entire state of Wyoming, which is like the size of Benelux.
I also forget that Nebraska exists. Actually, most states in the northwest or whatever.
To be fair, Americans mostly forget, like, we know, Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and like
Alberta,
British Columbia, but like the ones like I guess maybe Alberta, but like Saskatchewan and
Manitoba.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find. Okay, so Texas, Utah, Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Minnesota. I think we've looked. Arkansas.
These are the states that are seceding tonight, right?
Well, we can hope. Let's see. Where's Arkansas? There we go.
Oh, it only has 800,000 people. Sorry, I thought it only had 100,000. No, people are saying there's 500,000 or 800,000.
Okay, it looks like Biden is winning. Oh no, it's less than 1%. Let's see here. I don't know. It looks like Biden's might take it tonight. Oh wait, Biden and Sanders are tied in Texas. Interesting.
Look at, but isn't Biden's from Nevada, right?
I thought he was from
Is he?
Pennsylvania. Let me
Oh
see.
yeah, no, it was somebody else. It was Harry. I think it was Harry Reid. I'm sorry,
Yeah, Harry Reid is from Utah. Or no, yeah, he's from Nevada.
Nevada. Well, either way, it looks like Sanders is winning.
I think it's Pennsylvania. Oh no, Delaware. Delaware. He was the senator from Delaware.
Okay.
Right.
That's the other state everybody forgets about, even though like it has one claim to fame of being the first state admitted to the union.
He just
but-
always talks about how he's from Pennsylvania, so I always think he's from Pennsylvania. Let's see here. Right, Biden's from Delaware. Okay, I looked it up. Illinois is not. California hasn't closed yet. California's a clusterfuck, so who knows how long it's going to take them to tally the votes.
They have to wade through the piles of garbage to get to the polling places.
Wow, Warren might come third in her own state. I don't know. So far, Bloomberg looks like a nothing burger.
Did you just see him post a picture of a special like gourmet hamburger where it was cut into quarters and it formed a swastika?
No.
Look it up.
Bloomberg randomly wins Tennessee. When like he doesn't seem to be he got like nothing in, let's see, Virginia's 93% in. So Biden just swept Virginia. Sanders got virtually no delegates. Now I guess Texas is different because Texas I don't think has many blacks. I think the minority there is almost entirely Hispanics. So, or sorry, Latinos.
Latinx, you bigot.
No, Latinos. Let's see here. Can you imagine Biden debating Trump? Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, Trump's not the best at debating either, but he's like at least high energy
And can form coherent sentences.
some of
Well,
some of the time.
he's not the most senile. Well, you can't tell if he's just normally nuts or if he's going, he's at least in somewhat much better health than Biden is.
Yeah, it's funny. Trump didn't, I think, spend much on his election campaign.
No, again, the media basically advertised it for him 24 hours.
I think he just, yeah, and the memes.
Though to be fair, I think like the people our age, that the young kind of millennial conservative right wing memers, were only a small portion of people that voted for him. It was mostly because
No, but I think it did a fair amount of like getting his name out
recognition.
there. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it helped with that and giving the impression that he had momentum.
Because the demographic that generally got him was working class whites, which have all but just completely abandoned the Democratic Party. Oh, Arjun, it says Texas is 12% black, which is about what the national black population is.
Yeah, I don't know what is North Carolina the most? Or is it
It might be, or it might be like
Alabama?
Mississippi. Yeah.
Let me see here. Okay, DC is 60%. Mississippi is 36 and Louisiana is 32.
Okay.
Oh, North Carolina is only 21. Okay. It's not as much as I thought it was. So yeah, Biden will probably sweep all of those states.
What in the South?
Remember how okay, so apparently Russia is trying to support Bernie's campaign.
Well, the
Sorry.
Russians. Why would anybody like? Why shouldn't we just surrender to the Russians? Apparently, they just have They can basically just mind control everybody.
Sorry, guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
My mom called me because I had health problems recently.
Oh, okay.
She wanted to check up, and then we started talking about Corona and stuff.
So Biden is while you were gone, I played your Biden video.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate the advertising.
Actually,
I
let
like
me.
how that's like becoming true, even though I thought it wasn't real, and now it's real again.
No, like Buddha got smacked down. He smacked Warren down. There's my friend's channel. Go subscribe, and let me also post Fritz's channel.
Oh, thanks. I'm a video probably up maybe tomorrow. Or I'm doing streams now. I'm playing Mass Effect for the first time. The stream will be tomorrow on Twitch.
Oh, okay. I'm still playing through Turok Evolution.
Hmm. I haven't streamed for a while, but hopefully I'll get back into it tomorrow.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, so you were like, it looks like Biden might like. I'm intimidated by Biden. I don't even know what's going on.
Well, he seems like he's probably a Mason or he's in some deep state cult thing.
Biden might just be really dumb.
He's an
Well,
idiot.
I think he has dementia. Like I think it's like to the point he has dementia.
Remember his debate with Paul Ryan?
No, I was
He
still in high school. I wasn't like,
oh, he looked like he got out of rehab. It was like it was really embarrassing.
but he still won.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
By that energy. When's Texas close?
Texas has started coming in. Biden and Sanders are tied.
Okay. If Biden wins Texas, has Bloomberg performed well anywhere?
Bloomberg, it looks like a nothing burger. He won Samoa. He's doing randomly good in Tennessee. Tennessee is a three-way tie at the moment.
How's he doing in Oklahoma?
Um,
He's losing, looks like.
do you know why he's doing good in like these fucking random states?
Yes, because I live in Montana, so if you go on YouTube, every YouTube video, no matter what you click on, is a Bloomberg ad. So his whole strategy was basically go to rural states and just jam the fuck out of them with like ads in the hope that he'll somehow win the states if he does
They're
that.
everywhere here in New York, which is not surprising.
Well, that's his home state, so.
Yeah.
We were talking
It doesn't
about
feel like it.
who do you think he's gonna pick as his VP?
Biden?
Yeah,
Probably like Klobuchar.
Ginsburg.
I think he should pick Julian Castro personally.
Because he's the most competent.
Yeah, and he ticks the minority box.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
he's probably going to do the reverse of what Obama did.
so, wow. Oh, right. New Hampshire was a while back. Nevada
Did
was a
Castro
while back.
endorse him?
I actually don't know who Castro
Because
was.
Castro was like the head of the federal housing under Obama.
Right. I just thought like of the people that kind of makes sense. What about Kamala, or is she just too unlikable?
Well, she's not very like Biden's smarter than her.
That's really disturbing. Maybe he could do Warren.
Maybe, but
He probably
No,
won't.
no, that would be a really bad idea.
Well, he can.
Warren's
she
like
can
the
take,
least likable person there.
Maybe he could
She's
do
like-
Andrew Yang. Actually,
No.
that wouldn't be the worst.
he'll do Hillary Clinton. But yeah, Warren is like she's like discount. She's like Hillary Clinton, but without all the evil, or without any of the.
Out
without
the actions of evil.
Mhm.
She's like Clinton without the body count.
Oh no, Sanders is up in Texas. Bloomberg's doing pretty well in Texas too. Bloomberg is just like it kind of pisses me off just how much money he's wasted on his vanity project.
It's watching money burn. Every ad, it's watching money just incinerate that he could easily be giving, to poor people. But no, he this is his vanity project, I think.
So you think he's like it's not deep state or anything? He's just literally that egotistical.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
He's a New York billionaire. Of course, he's that egotistical. How do you Why do you think Trump ran for president? And again, as I said, Bloomberg is just jealous that his fellow New York billionaire doesn't gets to be president, gets to play president. And he doesn't.
So what do you think the odds are Biden will survive his if he wins?
40%.
It depends on if they're willing to, hook his brain up with wires and maybe do a weekend at Bernie's thing with him, and he will be officially alive, and we won't be any the wiser.
California still hasn't started coming in yet. I kind of don't expect them to come in because I don't expect California to be like competent enough, or maybe it just hasn't closed there yet.
It doesn't close until like 11 Eastern time.
Oh, okay. I won't be streaming that
We're
one.
probably gonna have to go to bed to go to work.
Yeah, no, well, I just don't want to go that long. But we can see like a lot of the important states. Um, like I don't know. I think Texas is going to kind of be a bellwether state. Um, Virginia, are you surprised by Virginia how much Biden won?
No, because everyone who voted there is either blue, like, no one's like. There's not very many shit libs outside of like, um, Fairfax County.
They're either dead dog Democrats or black.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call them the dead dog Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina. Yeah, Biden won that. Alabama. It's interesting. It is kind of a repeat of the last election, isn't it? Though, where Hillary had overwhelming black support.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
Black
if
people
Bloomberg
like
will run like as an independent.
Black people generally don't like Jews.
Because they're
Isn't that
their
just
landlords.
Mm-hmm.
And weren't they at least half of the slave owners?
I doubt that.
Mm.
I actually, part of me would kind of think Biden might be the least bad because he probably wouldn't do anything.
Well, you'd have to look at who he's picking as his vice president.
I mean, like the Obama years were bad, but it's not like as bad as the shit we saw during the Democratic debates. Like, would you agree with me on that, Serp?
Didn't they say that they support the abolition of borders?
I think
during
Biden was the only one who didn't.
Wasn't Biden that he like halfway rose his hand and he hover-handed when they said that there should be free medical care for illegal immigrants?
Yeah. So our last best hope is a guy who like shits his pants and has heart attacks on stage.
It's literally like Abstract's book.
Yeah, like how they run John McCain against the Antichrist. And John McCain is literally hooked up to like a life support machine. Fucking John McCain. Would it have been better for you if they had a fully repealed Obamacare?
No. It might have been personally worse for me.
I think me too, because it would have meant.
I get mine through my work.
Yeah, I'm. That's the thing. I really have to get one. I have to get a job that gives healthcare before my birthday this summer.
I'm kind of curious, just because I don't really. What with regards to like medical spending, where do you spend most of your money, like medical money?
Prescription drugs, probably.
Like, sorry, on what?
Prescription drugs, probably.
Yeah, what's funny is like if I think about it, most of the money I would spend if I was paying for healthcare here would be on prescription drugs, and I just get those covered through my work because in Ontario, at least, prescription drugs aren't covered by the government. Um, some provinces have their own things, but dentistry, optometry, and prescription drugs aren't covered, which I think for most middle class people is their main healthcare expense. Because people,
Well,
sorry, go on.
oh, are you done?
Yeah.
Well, I have kidney stones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So if I need a surgery for that, that would cost thousands and thousands of dollars, which I couldn't pay if I was uninsured.
So, like, that kind of thing is fully covered by the except for whatever medications are involved, that's not covered.
Mhm.
But like in my case, back when I had to take, now I take Prozac, which is obviously dirt cheap. But
Mhm.
back when I was taking Cymbalta, which was a name brand drug, that would have been like $300. Well, not 300, but like $150 a month.
Yeah, I noticed this because I have like because I take Prozac as well for anxiety, but I also take an ADD medication.
Hmm.
That all the other stuff I take is like really cheap, except for that.
For the 88, yeah, Prozac
Yeah.
is really cheap. Um,
Hmm.
but like you have to go to the dentist. At least I do go to the dentist like 3 times a year. And fillings are really expensive. Like my last dentist bill was, I think, like $900. I mean, I get, I think, $2,000 covered through my work, but that goes by really quick. And that's not even for like major shit. That's like for minor shit.
Hmm.
Um,
I was just at the dentist earlier this week, and something really oh I mean last week, sorry. And bizarrely enough, like they were taking X-rays, and the thing you have to bite down on, like I have a problem gagging really, like I gag very easily.
mhm.
Um, and like she said, oh, I have this trick that always works when I'm when I do this, and she just sprinkled some salt on the thing, and I had no problems at all. It was spooky how easily that worked. I think it's just like, oh, your tongue's tasting salt. Oh, I'm eating food now. I don't care about anything else.
Like, okay, so like I'm gonna say it semi unironically. It's 20 like eight. It's sorry. It's 2020. This it just shouldn't be a thing anymore. Like if you look at how cheap prescription drugs are in like some other countries, like in the third world, how cheap a lot of this shit is. It's
Well, the
like,
cost of a lot of stuff is super cheap in the third world because nobody can afford to sell it at a high
yeah,
price.
but it's like it just shouldn't be a thing that people in like first world countries can't get basic medications.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like, of course, the problem is that like I would also agree with having universal health care. The problem is, of course, that the United States spend is so in debt, and we have such an unhealthy population that Bernie's plan just bankrupts the whole
I
country
mean, like
immediately.
people bitch about rationing, but they're already like how is the current system better than rationing? Where people go bankrupt for like the rest of their lives if they like have an accident or something. Like I don't get how
Well,
that's better.
the United
That
States has comparable healthcare to Costa Rica and Cuba.
doesn't Costa Rica have a notoriously good healthcare system though?
Yeah, but think about the GDP per
Well,
capita of
of course, with Costa Rica, they don't have a military, and the United States, like, this is the problem that this is when the conservative NPCs come out, in which if
why
you
should
say that
Morocco have a better health industry than the United
yeah,
States?
but like the thing is, like, you try and talk to every conservative will say they're in favor of a balanced budget and reducing spending, but if you try and explain that it's mathematically impossible for us to get a balanced budget without cutting some of the military, they immediately shut down and say that you hate the military and you should leave America.
Isn't like military spending a meme? Because like they talk about like because people act like America's military budget means it's like super far ahead of every other country.
It is in terms of just raw size of the Navy, I know, but
The Navy, it is. I feel like it's
Yeah, but that might be a meme because a lot of it could be obsolete. We don't know though.
no,
Mhm.
but like I don't think you can compare the Russian and American military budgets because Russia has a nationalized defense industry and America has like the most bloated, inefficient, graft-ridden defense industry like in human history.
The thing is, I'm just thinking about this, and in the kind of science fiction book I'm gonna write, or I'm thinking of writing is like you basically have the Federation that the main characters are fighting against is basically run kind of like the modern U.S., but it's basically if the Federation from Star Trek was more realistic in that they have like they on paper they have a massive amount of manpower, but in reality like so many people are like fat, lazy, and like completely unwilling to actually fight. They have massive shortages of manpower because like imagine in the modern US trying to get into an actual war in which we have to reinstate the draft. Like you get riots by millions of young left-wing and far-right Americans, and most of them wouldn't be
Now,
healthy enough
I
to be.
haven't read this book series, but my friend who read the Northwest Front books tells me that the Northwest Republic wins the war with the US because the like affirmative action has hollowed out the US Army. So
Mm-hmm.
like they have all this advanced shit, but they can't operate any of it. And Serp has talked about this at length to me about the Toyota War in
Oh yeah, the
chat
Toyota War.
where the Libyans were too retarded to use their advance. Now, to be fair, I think France gave like
No, France knocked out their command and control.
to be
Was
fair to like Libya, and that kind of fucked them.
Yeah, but let's keep in mind the Libyans had T-62s and T-55s against pickup trucks
And
and
like
machine.
aircraft and like gunships and shit.
Yeah, even without any air force, they should have like just driven T-55s into the pickup trucks and destroyed them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think they had modern, like, state of the art anti tank weapons.
Uh, I don't.
Let me look this up.
So,
But
uh,
no,
somebody
but
posted that. Sorry, go ahead.
Like they should be able to use like a T-55 has a really low profile. If you use that in an entrenched position, it would be impregnable unless if you had like air support against like an all like Toyota truck and like foot army or like horseback army. That like just like 10 of those should be almost completely impregnable if they're entrenched.
Mm-hmm.
It has an
So,
extremely low profile, and you could
uh,
just literally put everything below except for the fucking turret.
they
like
had
on what I
modern anti tank guided missiles.
Well,
on
they probably had RPG sevens.
sorry, but what I on what I was saying, Argent, like is what I was saying is it reminds me of your video on like what just pondering a world without the American superpower is you look at like how Americans are we're just not prepared for we're just not willing to go to an elongated war anymore. Like you had massive war support in World War II, even though we lost over 400,000 men. We had to pull out of Vietnam after losing 60,000, and after losing a few thousand in Iraq and Afghanistan, people just were completely like unwilling to keep fighting.
So the Chadian forces had Western European anti tank weapons that
I
were
still think that like I don't even know how to describe the advantages they should have in that type of environment with tanks. Like a tank is worthless in a place like Korea or Afghanistan, but in a flat desert environment, it's god tier.
Mm-hmm. Just ask Erwin Rommel. But speaking of Afghanistan, there somebody like posted a pic. It was like a map of like where all the hypothetical wizarding schools are in Harry Potter, and for some reason, I think it's because it just shows like there you go to different schools. Italy and Afghanistan were the only ones that weren't directly part of a or affiliated with any official school, and so somebody just posted that feel when the Vatican and the Taliban eradicated witchcraft.
um but yeah, I'm just saying the American military budget I think is kind of bullshit because of how but like Yeah, so anyways, what was I talking about? Not every country with a public healthcare system is the UK. The NHS is fucking hell on earth. Like the shit that comes out of the UK about how like Orwellian and horrendous their healthcare system is.
Where they have like literal death panels.
Yeah, like not every country is that bad. And there's like there's a different version of death panels in the US, which is like insurance adjusters. And I mean, is it like really worse that some people get denied coverage through death panels, that you have a or a sizable portion of the population who's in debt for the rest of their natural lives because they got like sick or they got into an accident? Like I don't.
Syrup, didn't you say Germany probably has the best model? Could you expand upon that?
Oh,
I don't know that much about
oh no,
healthcare.
I've said
Oh,
Germany has the best model. Uh,
why?
Sorry. Germany has, at least to a large extent, public insurance, but a lot of the delivery is private.
Okay.
So they have, they're called sickness funds. So everybody, I'm not sure if I think it's mainly employers contribute into the sickness funds, and the sickness funds are used to reimburse medical professionals for services and stuff. So yeah, so everybody contributes into like a big pool of money, and the money's used to reimburse doctors and stuff.
Actually, Robert Freed in the chat, he said the U.S. can easily defeat a symmetric foe like the German army in World War II. Even then, in the early months of the Normandy invasion, the U.S. had a massive problem fighting a mostly beaten German army at that point
Well,
because
they lost in Tunisia, like man for man. Yeah.
The Kasserine Pass was a massacre of Allied forces. But like I think the Germans had a joke like in the early few weeks of Normandy, they were saying they almost calculated that like the Germans were destroying Allied tanks faster than they were being produced because of the terrain, and the Allies were bottlenecked before they were able to get places like
To
Caen and
be fair to
Cherbourg.
North Africa, the Germans, like, it was the definition of a sideshow.
No, but
There
the
was the influence
Germans
of
like grossly overperformed in North Africa compared to
No,
everyone.
I'm saying whereas that was like the focus of the US was North Africa, whereas the Germans didn't commit nearly as much as they could have.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think they had like 300,000 troops between Italy and Germany that were stranded there
Hmm.
Mhm.
at the end at Tunis.
But
And they
yeah,
just ended up becoming captured.
you just read though like in Normandy of you read like Michael Vittman, who in like a half hour takes out 30 tanks. Or well, no, he took out 15 tanks and 15 anti tank guns in the span of about an hour.
It's it's a meme like that the Sherman was bad.
No, it was a good workhorse tank. It's just that like it's interesting that there weren't really well known U.S. tank aces as there were with the Germans.
What are their Soviet tank aces?
No,
Well, other than the
are
Battle
there?
of Razanai, um, I don't know.
Was
That's
that the one where the T-34 went behind enemy lines?
the it was a KV-1.
Okay.
And they had to like I think they had to like cut the tank open and drop like satchel charges inside of it. It held off an entire
Did
German
it
tank
knock
division.
out like multiple Panzer ones and Panzer twos?
Yeah, we're just gonna. There aren't any results coming in, so let me just look up Battle of Rezanai, which was okay. So the lone Soviet tank. So a single KV-1. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, advanced far behind the lines. Let's see here. Just seeing how many it blew up. Yeah, it held off like the entire German tank division for like an hour or something.
Mhm.
Just because KVs. That was, I think, why the Germans decided to upgrade all of their uh, guns. But like the thing is, American military doctrine was that the main purpose of a Sherman was infantry support. They had dedicated tank destroyers and anti-tank guns to use against tanks, and they did upgrade the Shermans to the throughout the war.
Well, here's the thing. Like, um, I mean, if you can burn through the personnel in the end, what does it matter?
Well, that and they worked. Like none of the
Well, yeah.
German tanks
To
fucking
be
like
fair, like the Tiger didn't work very well at all.
Yeah.
Like the Elephant was like unworkable.
the Panther was a mess. None of the
Wasn't the Pan? I think the Panzer IV though was a generally good.
Panzer IV was reliable. The best tank, honestly, you could probably argue the Stug 3 was like the best thing.
That's the one they made the most of.
Yeah,
And it's an excellent. It's got a nice low profile, and it's like an excellent. It's also an excellent support vehicle.
it's really good in World of Tanks. That's all I know.
Keep
I
in
play,
mind, compared
yeah,
to the T-34, the Sherman was better because, like, if the T-34 got hit, everybody inside would basically die because it was so uncomfortable and you couldn't escape. Compared to if a Sherman got hit, it was a lot easier to escape and much.
No, I think the Germans called them Tommy cookers, or because or no, I think he was calling that the British. I like the Sherman Firefly when the British just attached an artillery piece onto the turret.
So we'll get back to the election. There's not any results. So somebody explain why. You know how Shermans had the reputation for exploding or like catching fire.
Yeah, that's why they were called Tommy cookers.
What had happened was the British just stuffed more ammo in them than they were designed to carry. Like they just filled it to the absolute brim with extra shells, and that was kind of why they tended to explode. Eventually, they introduced wet ammo storage and like a bunch of other stuff, and that wasn't really an issue anymore. But like, I think American doctrine was if you had like a company of infantry, I don't know how big is a company?
It's like around 100, 150.
Yeah, and you give them like 5 or 6 tanks. That's and Shermans have like at least 150 cal, and then they have high explosive. Like that is makes them immensely more effective. Um, but no, like I think I've kind of come around the Sherman. The Panzer IV was good. The T-34 was good. Um, the German tank doctrine, from my understanding, is to be one generation ahead of the Allies. Um, Also, German tanks had to have a gun that was big enough to it had to have armor capable of resisting the gun on the tank. The thing is, the Tiger was actually designed for something completely different. It was supposed to be a breakthrough tank, but they kind of pressed it into service. Um, Ferdinand's failed, but it's my favorite tank in World of Tanks.
Mm-hmm. I play
War Thunder.
War Thunder instead.
Is the Stug good in War Thunder?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it fast in War Thunder? Because it's really fast in World of Tanks.
It's generally pretty fast. I actually really like the what's the T? I've upgraded enough now, but I liked using the T-38, the Czech one, when I was playing as the Germans, because it's really nice and fast and has okay firepower. Though I generally just like doing the anti-aircraft role in War Thunder because I don't know why, but I just love shooting down planes. We were doing a map once, and I was playing as I was a verbal Vind, I think, and I managed to I shot down 10 planes in a row. But it's just like one after another. They kept trying to strafe me, and they just kept getting annihilated. Do they have planes in World of Tanks, or is it just tanks?
It's World of Warplanes. Actually, I was a lot better at War Thunder Ground Forces than I was at World of Tanks. I have to try World of Thunder Ground Forces again. I'm bad at flight sim, so I found War Thunder Air to be kind of. I played American bombers, so I had B-17s, which was kind of fun, but yeah, I'd love to. I should do that. I'd love to have like a Pershing. Actually, I might do the Russian tree because I want my IS-3.
Mhm.
Anyways, let's see. So Virginia's fully in. Biden got 53% of the vote and a shit ton. Biden won North Carolina.
And looks like South Carolina too.
I think South
Well,
Carolina. Sorry.
that was last week for South
Oh,
Carolina.
So, sir, it looks like Biden got 36% of the vote and 20 delegates, and Bernie got 24% of the vote and 5 delegates.
Yeah, you have to cross 15% to get delegates in most states, I think.
Yeah, but it's like it's not so it's is it first past the post in most of the, or is it just different in every state?
I don't. I. It's just. It's good luck figuring it out. It's different in every state.
Because it seems like, I don't know, it just seems like Biden gets a lot more delegates than, maybe he just tends to do better in winner take all states. Like he got 100% of the delegates in Alabama, despite only getting 50%, 60% of the vote. Or no, Alabama's still coming in. Sorry, Alabama's only at 0%. So Tennessee is. Oh, it looks like Biden's going to win Tennessee. So I don't really know because Biden's winning a lot of states, but if Bernie wins Texas and California,
It doesn't really matter. Like
it,
he'll shoot in the delegates.
no, but won't it be a? I don't know. It could be a contested convention.
Yeah. No, it's very possible it could be a contested
sir, we
convention.
were
I
wondering
think
earlier. Could you explain?
Bloomberg ran so that he can like be a decider in a contested convention.
Sir, could you explain a brokered convention to us?
Okay, so if somebody doesn't have crossed the threshold of the majority of delegates, then they have to basically the delegates have to decide who the candidate is.
Okay.
But it's even worse in a Democratic convention because there's super delegates, which are individual people, they're members of the party, like higher ups and senior members, which makes it even more corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, if I
So
could
what
just.
about
Oh, sorry, go on.
the super delegates?
Super delegates are individual members of the party, often senior members, or people in high positions or large donors that they have their own delegate that they get to decide as an individual citizen or member of the party.
Okay.
Sorry, something completely and utterly unrelated that I found. Serp, have you heard of Dankest Hour?
No.
So it's a submod for Kaiserreich that adds in shit like it adds in HP Lovecraft.
What?
Um, as it adds, so you know how the American Civil War happens. You can make it so he becomes the leader of New England, and he's the leader of the National Populists. And they're like an extreme. It's just like all Teutonic LARP, like
Wait,
Anglo-Saxon shit.
who is the leader of them?
Is this
HP Lovecraft.
for four or is this for Darkest Hour?
Is it
Freight Show I4.
Oh.
is one
I
of the
prefer
other...
Darkest Hour because the Hearts of Iron.
Oh
2
yeah, I
is
love.
weird.
No, I'm getting kind of bored. I've played too much. I've played all I can with Darkest Hour.
I
It's
played
also
like
kind of
Yeah, but
probably
national focuses, so like you have an option to expel the Irish from New England.
mhm.
One of the options is you can introduce Lovecraft's literature as mandatory reading in schools. Um,
But what about his cat?
Lovecraft, like he claims that like Providence, they nickname him Providence, and he claims like he receives like visions or something. Uh,
that
they
he's
they they give a whole bunch of like OP shit to Lovecraft's
so
America.
basically can he summon Cthulhu and just conquer the earth or something?
No. You have the option actually of submitting to be part of to be a Dominion.
Well, that's what he would do in real life because he was a massive Anglo dude.
Yeah, because that's one of the options you have, that you can submit to be a dominion and be ruled by the governor general. But like they're having the conventions, so H.P. Lovecraft has his, what are they called again? The Providence Guard, and he like storms the convention. So they're the National Populist Party.
It's really weird because the Lovecraft, because you did the video on the worst fan bases and the best,
Yeah.
because Lovecraft's fan base is both the worst and the best. There's the Lovecraft fan base, which is make him spin so hard in his grave that he resurrects from the dead so he can commit suicide. Of just complete like the worst, horrible, like shit lit SJWs that hate everything he wrote and they just do it to ruin like his legacy. They try to like make fan fiction, and then you have like people that are in like people like that like they like the monsters and they like
They
just
like they like the edgy atheism.
no, that's the first one. The first one hates his racism and tries to completely destroy his legacy because they love his atheism. And then the second one is like the people that made the Reanimator movie and the From Beyond movie that
Mm-hmm.
are like tentacles and all the weird, extremely purple writing and stuff like that. They're more interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
And Lovecraft is a person, and they always try to write Lovecraft into the stories and make him into an action hero for irony and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That second one, I think, is like one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. The question is, do New Englanders desire to remain a vigorous, clean, moral, Teutonic Celtic people? Or do they desire to transform their country into a sordid, amorphous chaos of degradation and hybridism like Imperial Rome? Providence must destroy not only his outspoken opponents, but the lukewarm, the opportunist, the heretical, the bastardized, all who bear the stamp of the fallen age.
So, like, bro, Lovecraft like fandom is obviously a lot better than like progressive Lovecraft fandom, is what I'm getting at, though.
It kind of makes sense that they're like he leads like the extreme right party, like
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, he was like he had a magazine called The Conservative before he started writing his horror stories.
mm-hmm.
I mean, um, I don't know. I wanted when I read more, I wanted to do a stream with you just to talk about Lovecraft. I don't
Okay.
know. Would you want to do a stream about Dracula too?
Yeah, I need to like reread
I'd
some
be,
Lovecraft before we could do a stream
I'd,
about
I'd
that.
be up for like the classic ones because I'm starting to listen to the audiobook of Frankenstein because it is actually quite interesting. Like just listening to it, it already sounds so much more. There's such a nice richness and like, uh,
The purple language.
yes. Well, I just started listening to it, but it's also cool to listen to like one of the first horror stories because it is
Um,
genuinely
Well, to
terrifying.
be fair, it's arguable the first English novel was a horror novel, Beware the Cat.
Mm. Well,
Like
you know, of the
Gothic
of the
horror is
recognized
like,
monsters, you know.
oh, okay, yeah. You should if this might be hard if you're Catholic, but The Monk is an outstanding Gothic novel.
Okay,
Ambrosio is just out. Like Satan comes in. I'm just gonna ruin a 250-year-old book or
that's
whatever.
fine.
Satan come because it's about like the head of the fictional head of the Caprician Order, and he makes like a deal with Satan, and he like is a rapist and all kinds of stuff. And Satan comes in at the end and like picks him up and throws him to his death. Like Satan rescues him from the Inquisition and takes him on top of a mountain and says, he's like, "Thank you for saving me, Satan." He's like, "I saved you so that I could kill you myself." And he picks him up off the top of the mountain and drops him down.
and he like crushes him to his death at the end. It's amazing.
Apparently, just in there's some. These are three proposed changes in Russia's constitution: is rules out gay marriage, bans giving away any land, and a special place for God in the government. Pretty base.
Nazbul.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. Okay, so not a ton is happening. Let's see here. The Irish question. Let's see here.
Ireland, if there was no famine and mass immigration to America, Ireland would have probably had like a today probably would have like a population of 30 million. Oh, but I've been playing Fallout 4 a lot recently, and I'm thinking, it definitely does the Brotherhood of Steel a lot better than Fallout 3, where they made them a bunch of like pussy, just normal like goody two shoes. This time they just act like actual Nazis, which is kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm. So let's see here. Is there any more? We'll probably stop around 10. Um, we'll see. Hopefully, like, they'll call a couple more states before then. It looks like a couple of them are pretty close to being done. Texas should be done relatively soon. Um, Alabama's done. Oh, no, Alabama is, like, nothing's come in. Ohio. I love how Putin just dissolved the entire government, like just because he could.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. Is Wisconsin tonight, or was it Minnesota?
Minnesota is tonight.
Okay, say.
Klobuchar would have won her own state, but then she literally threw in the towel the day before.
Who?
So, like, Klobuchar is going to get a bunch of write-in votes and get delegates, even though she quit in her own state and stuff.
What happens to the delegates of the people that dropped out?
Well, they still have them at the convention.
Okay.
So even if you dropped out, Buttigieg will, and there's a contested convention, Buttigieg still has his delegates.
Mm-hmm. Kind of, or something similar happened with President Garfield, where he absolutely didn't want to be president, but he just still got all of the. He just won in like the delegates in a landslide, even though he didn't even want to be president. And then sadly, like 6 months later, he got killed by Charles Guiteau, who was pissed off because he was insane and thought that like if and was like a spokesman for Garfield, and then didn't get any recognition, so stalked him for a few months and then just shot him. Surf Kerp, would you date Ben Shapiro's sister?
I can't take the beta orbiting around her. I just find it super cringy. Let's see. Massachusetts. Warren looks like she might come third place in Massachusetts. Biden's winning in Massachusetts.
Is Sanders winning or Warren?
Biden.
Wait, in Massachusetts?
It's only 12% in, but yeah, Biden's winning so far.
That deal when like they split the vote so Biden wins.
Sanders and Biden are tied in Maine. Oh, Maine is caucuses. So, oh wait, it okay. I feel like a boomer. It tells you which they are on this. Okay, I'm retarded. Um, see. Oh, Colorado's coming in now.
The problem I have is that I don't want Biden to be the nomination because Trump versus Sanders would be at least more interesting and entertaining. It's just going to be boring because Trump's just gonna has an easy way to keep attacking him. Oh, he's sleepy Joe Biden. He's a senile old man.
Wow, Biden came in third in Colorado after Bloomberg and Sanders. Who knows? Bloomberg's strategy of just getting just enough delegates to be the kingmaker might work.
I thought he would win at least one state, though.
Um, I I don't know. I don't think he's gonna win any state. Could he
No.
win New York?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because this could just go on. Because there's still New
Well, it's
York and
just going.
Illinois.
I don't think that like the last three times it went through the last few states. Like Sanders versus Hillary and Hillary versus Obama went to the last few states. So.
'Cause there's still a couple big states
I keep
left.
forgetting Hillary ran in 2000.
Yeah, I want to forget about that myself. Well, Bloomberg won American Samoa, so I mean. Wait a minute, Tulsi
He
Gabbard
won
came
something.
second in American Samoa? That's amazing.
Well, she's part Hawaiian. She's part Samoan.
Yeah, I know, but it's
Like,
She's just like Jason Mimosa. Yeah, I think somebody posted just like 45-second commercials of Biden sniffing children are going to be aired on TV. Yeah, all Trump has to do is just show clips, all the bizarro clips of him being weird and senile.
I don't know. I think Biden is looking like he's the big winner tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He's won a bunch of states and he's doing better than expected in a lot of the states that Sanders was supposed to win. Um, let's see. Biden is winning by like a fair amount in Massachusetts. He's up like 6% over Sanders.
Or the delegates are proportional based on state population, so bigger states have more delegates.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like Sanders is going to win Texas.
Ace.
Why is he going to win Texas? Do Hispanics like Sanders more?
They seem he gained a lot with them in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Like from last time, he's gained a lot more of them.
I actually think Trump has a chance of winning if it's Biden.
Well, I think Trump could win against Biden. Like, I think it's more likely he'd win than lose, unless, well, Trump's probably going to lose because he's going to be blamed for the tens of millions dead from Corona.
Well, will there even be an election at that point?
They can adjust it and have mail-in ballots.
Mm-hmm. Well, who's going to want to count them?
It's a very
No.
good question. You have people
But-
like in hazmat suits.
That's actually happened in Israel in their third general election. They're having they have people counting the ballots in hazmat suits from the people that have corona.
I'm so mad the left didn't win. I still want gay marriage in Israel. That's my dream.
You mean both also open border? Also, I just feel generally bad for the Palestinians.
I mean, I don't like them, but I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Is the Irish question whether Biden is senile or not? I don't think that's really a question at this point in time.
I don't think you could argue that he's in his right mind all the way.
Bernie Bros is cringe.
Oh, even now, looking back 4 years ago, when all people on the right were on the Trump train, it's kind of cringy to look at now too.
No, it's not that cringy. I don't know. I actually defended Trump up until Corona Chan. I think he fucked up on Corona Chan, like big time. but
Doing because of what?
But to be fair, he fucked up as much as every other government in the world except for Madagascar and North Korea did.
yeah, that's true. How funny would it be if like the fatality rate of this turns out to be really high and North Korea just surges forward and like,
No, they shot missiles over the top of South Korea today.
oh, they did?
Yeah.
Well, then you also have Turkey's taking advantage and just of this and says, we want to keep fucking Europe, so we're gonna say, yeah, we're a transit country, everybody can go through now, but go to Europe. And like Erdogan's now just boasting, yeah, we have millions of migrants that are coming your way, but I guess Greece is now not having it, where they're fine with just shooting migrants, and like they have like the Greek Coast Guard like ramming their boats into the rafts and taking them.
No, that's what happens in the. Now I can't remember the title.
Camp of the Saints?
In Camp of the Saints, a Greek guy just a boat of the Indians capsizes. So a Greek guy just runs his boat over and over and kills all the refugee or the Indians with the propeller.
But like, there's a video of the Greek Coast Guard. They're also just like poking the rafts with sticks to make them go away. They're also like beating up left-wing journalists too, which
They
is
should
pretty
do
awesome.
that. Wasn't there like a Hungarian reporter that tripped the like Western European reporters?
I
And,
think so. Yeah.
They're also like stealing their cameras, but like the other thing is like now there's footage of like Turkish police like helping throw rocks or something at the Greek border guard to help the migrants.
Well, I mean,
I think Erdogan said, "Give me like X amount of money, or I'll like unleash them."
during the Cold War, wasn't the rivalry between Greece and Turkey stronger than the rivalry between the Soviet Union and the United States?
Yeah, they really hate each other.
I think they still really hate each other.
Well, no, I mean like the possibility for war within NATO between Greece and Turkey is just as high as the possibility of war between NATO and Warsaw Pact.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the thing is though, it could backfire to Erdogan if Bulgaria basically does the same thing and says no, we're not gonna repeat 2015 again, just completely closed borders, because like if he can't use that as leverage again, like because he's doing this, he says it's because like after 33 Turkish soldiers died in Idlib, he says, well, Europe's not doing enough to help me, so I'm just gonna give them a lot of migrants now.
Oh my god. Okay, so Dankest Hour introduced a focus tree for Sicily called Ride the Tiger.
That's literally the sexiest thing I ever heard.
How does it work?
Nights.
It's Ebola. You're gonna have Ebola as your leader.
Okay, let's look at some of the trees. Aristocratic funding, Knights of the Grail, destroy liberalism. Anti-clericalism is one of it. Oh, right. The primordial faith, occult societies. Right, because it's anti-Catholic. I think they restore it's like Pan Europe, and they start an alliance called the Roman Alliance. Mm-hmm. Warrior priests. What the fuck?
That's base.
No, that under Ebola's system, a warrior priesthood is like the highest level of society.
Confiscate degenerate wealth is one of the focus traits. That is amazing.
I'm excited for they finally dropped the release date for the new Stellaris update that it'll introduce the Galactic UN, and you can basically tell them to fuck off. That's all I want, is just to tell the interstellar community that they're a bunch of liberal
Dankest Hour, I think, also brought back the Mongolia focus tree, because they had recently gotten rid of like the larp from the Mongolia tree.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Mad Baron can't crown himself Genghis Khan II anymore.
Is this for? Is this a mod for Kaiserreich?
Yeah, it's a sub mod.
Okay.
It's just in Steam Workshop.
Okay.
Okay, someone says Stellaris is turbo gay in the
Shout out
chat.
to you. Well, I like it because I like the reason I can't really quite get into Hearts of Iron 4 quite yet is that I like being able to just have. I don't like being on a set path. I like the kind of just freedom of you can create your nation any way you want.
I'd play Kaiserreich then because like really random shit happens. Like there's a
Yeah, yeah.
lot of stuff that can go down.
Hmm. I hate
Every
how
country,
yeah.
can
Well,
become
Bowser
this.
Reich is a lot funner
Yeah,
because World War II happens the same way, like very similar with just a few things different in vanilla games.
Hmm.
But you can have multiple different World War IIs in Kaiser Reich. Or not
like
even
American Civil War, which way Russia goes is really big.
I did love playing as Russia in the Darkest Hour version of Kaiserreich, where we basically go we have a President Romanov and we basically go full like free market democracy because I'm like, why don't we just try to become the Republic of Novgorod again? And so once the Second Weltkrieg happens, we basically do the reverse of history, and Germany is partitioned between a democratic, a, a democratic market-based Russia and a syndicalist France. And then we get an event that in one of our universities, Winston Churchill from Canada comes and says an Iron Curtain's descended, but now the Russians are the democratic, peace-loving ones. The biggest change I've noticed though, I wonder, what do you think about this, Sir? Is with Italy and Kaiserreich in Darkest Hour, the northern half of Italy is just one country, and that's basically the Italian Federation's run by the Pope, and southern Italy is
Mhm.
syndicalist, and it's kind of the reverse in the
Well, it
Hearts.
makes more sense because northern Italy was more industrialized.
It makes it a little more balanced because at the Third
Yeah.
Internationale almost always loses. Um, the I call it the deterministic war, but the Second Great War. So it's confirmed Biden has won Tennessee.
Okay.
Um, Pretty decisively. I don't know if Bloomberg is going to get any delegates. Massachusetts looks like well, Biden looks like he's going to win.
Hmm.
If
Uh,
Biden's in Massachusetts, then Biden's like a front runner, I think.
Maine is a tie between Biden and Sanders.
What about Texas?
Sanders is winning in Texas by a fair amount. Bloomberg might get delegates though. Oh, Buttigieg endorsed Biden, I think. After
Him and Klobuchar both yesterday endorsed
Both
him.
Biden or Klobuchar and Buttigieg endorsed Biden.
So Biden might win tonight.
How many do you need to have a majority?
100, like 2,000.
You mean 200?
No, like 2,000. There's a lot of delegates.
Oh, okay.
No, it's like 1,200.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The
I'm
majority-
just looking at it. It says
Oh no, it's about 2,000. Sorry, RG. Right?
it's 1,991.
Hmm. Yeah, I might play Stellaris at some point. I'm thinking I want to do like a long gaming critique, but on Stellaris, but I want to wait until the update drops.
Why don't you play Turok Evolution? It'll be longer than most RPGs.
What is that?
I still think that game is shit. I'm sorry.
Go onto my channel and look at my Let's Play of it.
Okay.
It's not as boomers. You actually aren't doing bad at it. Like compared.
The game's really, really, really long though.
No, but like compared to your playthrough of Metro, Like, I think you're doing a lot better at Turok. Turok's just extremely buggy and like broken.
How do I feel about Huey Long? Yeah, Huey Long, cool.
Huey Long was woke.
Hmm. Him and Father Charles Cowlin,
Would you describe them as Christian socialism or
more or less. Or, I mean, well, yeah, Christian, yeah, third way Christian economics.
it's interesting. I don't think Huey Long was particularly racist.
No, that's largely that was part of his appeal was he didn't really care. He didn't really care about race at that in his
I don't think
campaign.
he would have like done any of the forced integration stuff, but he might have ended some of the
Hmm. Or he might have let it just end on its own or not do anything at the federal level.
because one of the focuses as the American Union state if Huey Long survives is to destroy the KKK.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I think Father Charles Cowell was like that because
um, the best for American Union state is if you go with Peely, um, whose Christian identity. So like one of his focuses is called segregation forever. And like I think there's a focus about like aliens and shit.
like extraterrestrials are just illegal aliens.
No, he was a very strong believer in aliens.
That's base.
Peely sounds like a complete like crazy person.
What was his full name?
I forget his name.
It's like Dewey Paley or something like that.
The amount of work they had to do to research all these people for Kaiserreich is amazing.
I don't know. I think there's a semi-canon, at least on like the Kaiserreich like official Facebook group. I think canonically, the Syndicalists win the American Civil War and they form the United Socialist States of America. Um, you know what
They
the
Do they conquer all of the former America?
I think Pacific States is remains neutral, but they conquer all of Canada. The
What about
the Canadians retake Britain with the help of the German Empire. Um, I think I think Germany basically forms the EU.
just as a right wing nationalist version?
I'm not sure.
Somebody says Kaiserreich is half cringe. Don't you?
I mean, it's some of it is cringe.
But it's great.
The Brazil is interesting. Brazil's really interesting. The because the integralists criminalize racism.
I think the most boring the most boring country is probably Japan because it's not too different from real history.
I like playing as Japan. It's Empire Brazil. I think my favorite country is honestly Commune of France.
Mm. So I watched TV with my parents the other night, and they watched the show called Impractical Jokers.
Uh-huh.
And like, this is what they're watching. Like, TV is absolute shit.
Yeah, it is. It's awful.
Like the show's premise is four idiots who aren't funny, have to like be in situations where like they have to pretend to be people in like at like the dentist, and they have to do whatever and say whatever the other people tell them to do. And I couldn't tell at first, is it funny because they're trying to construct jokes, or is it's I was laughing, and I think it's because the situations were so awkward and unfunny that the cringe was making me
So
laugh.
it's like an anti-joke.
Yeah, but like people think it's just normally funny. But like my dad said, like My dad was like horrified. He was like trying to fall asleep, and he watched the first episode of The Handmaid's Tale, and he said it was
Oh,
the worst thing he's ever watched. But
oh, my parents love that. They also love modern degeneracy, which I would never watch if my life depended
What's
on.
modern degeneracy?
Modern
Modern
Family.
the one where Modern Family is dumb white dad and normal family, and then gay family, and then the guy from an old boomer marrying a young Latina
Yeah,
who
but
for
that's
some
kind of
reason
Chad because she's hot.
Mhm.
So
she's actually a natural blonde, but
yeah.
apparently like she has to look darker, so they make her dye her hair dark.
Hmm.
Because apparently it has this, they can't make it look like there are white people in Latin America.
Uh huh.
But no, like then like there's the Jewish revenge porn called Hunters on Amazon, because that's all it is. Like they also have like this black girl say like here's how to hunt for Nazis. Are they white people?
Oh no, they say this is for the 11 million, and I'm like, I thought it was 6 million.
No, well, I think that's all the that's considered all of the people
That's
that
with
were
the
killed
gypsies and
names.
stuff.
So that's
Oh,
like the
okay.
gypsies, the homosexuals, and the Freemasons, and
Yeah, but isn't like mentioning? I always thought mentioning them was bad because it like took away. Um, so the thing that I remember Modern Family from is back on like Stormfront. Someone did a review of it, and he like talks about how the gay couple adopts a kid, and it goes the camera pulls away to show that the child is none other than a generic mongoloid, which I just thought
yeah.
was like the funniest thing I've ever heard. Like not
Mhm.
like it's not even like a specific mongoloid. It's like
Mhm.
a generic one. No, the worst one is Will and Grace. There's nothing. Will and Grace did so much damage to society.
Mhm. What about Big Bang Theory?
Big Bang Theory is at least kind of funny. It doesn't bother me as much as.
It was funny when I first started watching it because I think it was a unique idea. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say it stole its idea from IT Crowd, but no, IT Crowd was later.
I actually find Big Bang Theory kind of funny. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I do actually find it
Mhm.
kind of funny. Um, the 6 million.
But what is the worst show on TV right now?
Oh, I'd say
I
modern
haven't watched
degeneracy.
TV in like decades.
I'd
Yeah.
say modern degeneracy is the worst.
The bizarre thing is just like it is like you're an alien and you're like, wait, people find this stuff funny.
The fact that my parents are obsessed with like Handmaid's Tale really bothers me.
The idea that America is now literally that was the most bizarre thing looking back at the new atheist movement is they literally thought that George Bush wanted to make America a Puritan
I
theocracy.
wish.
Yes.
Remember, there's like this conspiracy thing called the family, like this cabal that runs America, and I'm like, I wish there was a Christian cabal that runs America.
Like they coined the term Christo-fascism. I'm like, that would have been
I
based. Like,
wish it would have been like integralism.
but it's like and it's like literally all they wanted to do is make America like the 1960s, or at the most extreme of that of the people of that wanted to make America like the 50s again.
No,
And it's
I
like,
don't even think they were that like.
or probably more like the like get rid of Roe v. Wade, go back to like 1970. But and the thing is, like, was America a theocracy then? No, America was never really a theocracy unless you like count even like the Puritans. What was his name? Like Robert or William Robert something William, the guy who founded the American Baptist churches. He explicitly wanted to found the Rhode Island colony based on religious liberty. So there were a bunch of really bizarre cults that
I
sprung
hate
up
the
in
the Quakers are like the worst. I hate the Quakers.
The Shakers are funnier though, because I worked in one of their houses, or I worked in like when I was worked at a museum. I worked at like a house they had, and like like they had no there's like 4 of them left now, but the funniest one is like the ones that there were certain groups that had an idea of free love, and like the United upstate New York where I live is it was home to a lot of these weird cults, like these weird Christian cults, and the Oneida community or something said like they basically had a free love movement where, or first off, if you wanted to have a kid you had to go through a rigorous process, but you could also have the most as much sex as you wanted, but the guy could not the guy couldn't nut, so that must have been agonizing.
There was I'm trying to think. There's a couple Christian. Slovakia was led by base father Tiso.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like
When I,
the
go
Uste. I'm
you know,
I don't like them.
The
Who?
Ustasa?
Yeah,
who were they?
they
The
were the
Croatians.
Croatian fascists.
Okay.
Just because of the genocide of like Serbians.
Mm-hmm.
We can't talk about this.
Oh, we can't. Okay.
Don't. I can't. I have alternative opinions about that.
Okay, we'll just miss. Okay. Let's see here. The this is for the 11 million. Um, fucking I've hated Al Pacino for a while, and him being in Hunters is like the final straw.
Mm-hmm. There was the great part at the end of the Adam Sandler movie Jack and Jill, where it literally just ends with Al Pacino doing a Dunkin' commercial rap, and that's how the movie ends.
Oh, the inexplicably committed performance. Okay, so it looks like Biden's gonna win Maine.
Which is fucking weird. My aunt, my great aunt, and uncle
My video is like deadly accurate. Even though like there was a part in time where I said I didn't think it was right. Apparently, like
Biden
I was
is.
100% on the money.
I think Biden's gonna win Massachusetts. Boston has come in for Biden. Well, I guess Massachusetts is at 19%, but Biden is beating Bernie by 8%. That seems like a lot to make up. Texas is going to go for Bernie. Bloomberg might pick up some delegates, though. Alabama, I think Biden's going to win like everything in Alabama. What else is tonight? Arkansas, Biden won Arkansas. Biden won Minnesota, it looks like. Although it's close.
Somebody asked what else did Al Pacino do that you hate about him?
I don't know, just I think there's some other shit he's done. He did Jack and Jill, that's reason enough.
That's my favorite part of the Red Letter Media video on him. Is like that's the best insult they could have given it. Is that that's not a movie. They can't say it's a bad movie because it isn't a movie.
So I'm getting tired, so I think I'm going to end it here.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on, Fritz. Always good to have you on.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, Serp.
Well, thank you for having me.
Could you link
apparently my video is proving deadly accurate.
Okay.
Unstoppable monster.
Could you send me your Twitch? I'll put it in
Yeah,
the
thank you. Let me get mine.
I have your channel in the stream. By the way, go sub to Fritz and Serp's channels. I'm just gonna post Fritz Fritz Imperial. Let me just see if Google's faster.
Oh, I just sent it to you anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing Mass Effect. I'm playing it for the first time. It's okay.
Are you doing a Renegade run or a Paragon run?
I'm doing. My Shepherd is a bizarro, contradictory person where I don't know what, but like I hate the council. I'm trying to do humanity first. My Shepherd's part of the Yang Gang.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do whatever like my direct superiors say, but I hate like this intergalactic globalism. Fuck it.
Right. Anyways, thanks for being on, guys. Have a good evening, everyone. God bless. Biden 2020.